Welcome to the weekend edition of the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed. I'm Michael Thompson, and hello, Sean Aylmer.
Morning, Michael.
Sean, on weekdays it's all about the Fast 5, which is the top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. On the weekend we still keep it to 5 minutes, but we're going to pick out the biggest story of the week, the sleeper story, one that's kind of flying under the radar a little bit, a most remarkable story, and our favourite story. So let's get into it. There are a couple of big, serious stories this week. What have you picked out, Sean?
Well, I'll take what's going on in the Middle East. Hamas militants based in the Gaza Strip invaded Israel on the weekend, killing hundreds of people, including children and attendees at a music festival. The incursion surprised Israel, triggered an outpouring of emotion and anger around the world. Israel responded, bombarding parts of the Gaza. Where it stands, the death toll on both sides is now being counted in the thousands. 2.3 million people in the Gaza Strip now have no water, no electricity, and 340,000 people are homeless. Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, has vowed to destroy Hamas. He's formed a war cabinet. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken arrived in Israel on Friday in a show of solidarity. He'll continue on to other Arab countries, including Egypt. More locally, overnight, Qantas was due to fly people from Israel to London. There'll be more flights repatriating Australian citizens, particularly holiday makers in Israel at the moment. There are pro-Palestinian and pro-Israeli rallies planned over the weekend. The boss of ASIO came out on Thursday and said that the agency is on alert for religiously motivated and ideologically motivated extremists. Iran is a major player in all this. How hard will Israel go in Gaza? A very, very sad story.
Yeah, it certainly is. There's another big story happening here at home as well, Sean, which is, of course, the referendum on the Indigenous voice to Parliament. We've been talking about it for so long, for months, and it's finally here. Leading into the weekend, the polls not looking great for the Yes campaign. They have been in a fairly steady decline now for a few months with a very effective No campaign, essentially arguing that if you don't know, vote no. Convincing voters to obviously back a change is a difficult thing, a very high bar for a referendum to be passed. A majority of voters nationally and a majority of states, it's a double majority. And that of the 44 referendums held since 1906, only 8 have actually passed. And it's tough as well to push to change the Constitution when that push doesn't have bipartisan support, which is the case here. The Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, has campaigned very strongly for the Yes campaign. Peter Dutton, the opposition leader, has been campaigning against it. It has become very political. Now Australians are having their say. This will probably be the political story of the year just because of it has dominated so much of the public discussion, and it's something that everyone is really very passionate about.
A very big story. Michael, what do you think was the most remarkable story of the week?
Oh, look, a couple of big deals, Sean. The ACCC, the competition regulator, has given the green light to a $19 billion bid for Origin Energy by Canada's Brookfield and its US-based partner EIG. Now, the part that I think is remarkable about this is the fact that the ACCC says that there are some competition concerns because of Brookfield's other interests in Australia, but that those potential competition issues are less important, essentially, than the nation's energy transition, because the ACCC says this acquisition will likely result in an accelerated rollout of renewable energy generation, which I think is fascinating. It's not quite a done deal yet, still needs Foreign Investment Review Board approval and approval from Origin shareholders. Another very big deal to mention just quickly, Sean, ExxonMobil's $59.5 billion deal to buy a US rival, Pioneer Natural Resources, in what Reuters says was a deal done in just a couple of weeks. And so clearly lots of talk about renewable energy, but Exxon feels that oil and gas will still be playing a major role for a very long time to come.
My most remarkable story, Michael, was the biggest cyber attack ever. Google, Amazon and Cloudflare said they've weathered the internet's largest known denial of service attack. Google said that its cloud services had parried an avalanche of rogue traffic more than 7 times the size of the previous record-breaking attack last year. Internet protection company Cloudflare said the attack was 3 times larger than anything they've experienced. Amazon Web Services said it was hit by a new type of distributed denial of service event. What that is, it's basically when a cyber hacker throws so much traffic at a site, it crashes and it stops legitimate web traffic getting through. Google said in a blog post that only 2 minutes of one such attack, generated more requests than the total number of article views reported by Wikipedia during the whole month of September. Incredible.
My favourite part of that whole story is the way you say Wikipedia, Sean.
Oh, what should it be?
Wikipedia.
Yeah, right.
But you say it in a way that really emphasises the second I as it comes out as
right?
Wikipedia. And
Wikipedia.
It's cute.
Let's move on. Sleeper story, Michael.
What was it for you? Have you got a good one for us?
I have. Look, I'm calling end to rate rises, not just here but overseas as well. National Australia Bank's monthly business survey shows a welcome sign for inflation, with both labour and purchase price growth easing. Everyone loves a NAB survey, especially the Reserve Bank. The survey is important because it tells us what's happening now in wages and prices. Remember the Bureau of Stats information? It tells us what has happened. This is what's happening now. Also in the United States, there's all sorts of soundings from the US Federal Reserve that rates are on hold. Wouldn't it be nice if rates won't go any higher? That's my sleeper story for the week, Michael.
That is a cracking sleeper story. Wrap things up with one favourite story. Can I nominate this one?
Please.
Sean. It is about German shoe company Birkenstock listing on Wall Street. It wasn't exactly the smoothest of floats. The shares dropped nearly 13% in what was the worst opening, valued over $1 billion on the New York Stock Exchange in over 2 years. A lot of history, though, in Birkenstocks. The family have been making shoes for nearly 250 years. That's 2.5 centuries of cobbling. Is that the right? Did I use that correctly?
No, I think so. Cobblers.
Yeah, and they've only been making like the actual sandals that everyone knows for about the last kind of 60 years. The two brothers who have been growing the business since the 80s banked about $5 billion after selling part of the business a couple of years ago. So really, they're the big winners in all of this. My favourite part of this, though, Sean, if you get a chance, check out the photos of the Birkenstock CEO and the Birkenstock team ringing the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange on the day the company listed. They're all there waving sandals in the air. There's photos of traders on the floor of the stock exchange all wearing sandals. One of them is wearing sandals with socks as well. It's just all good fun.
Great story, Michael.
All right, there we go. 5 minutes and pretty much everything you need to know in the world of business. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
We'll be back on Monday morning with the top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Don't forget to hit follow and join us online on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook and X. I'm Michael Thompson and this is the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed.